All right. Fanduel. Let's get this show on the road, see what we got here. In the old wishbone, 15K to first. I really do wish Fanduel had better contests. I really do enjoy the site, but at the same time, boy, their contests suck. By comparison to DK. If DK, you're playing for 50K up top every week, you know? The best tournament on here is 15 up top. It's kind of trashy. Nonetheless. Texas A&M taking on South Carolina. 48.5 over under. 33.5 Texas A&M. 15 for Lenora Sellers. If you told me before the season in any given week I'd get Lenora Sellers at 7,400, I would have told you he's a smash play and they messed up the pricing. But the fact of the matter is he's been absolutely terrible. FanDuel doing its usual thing where it doesn't like the load on the first click. I can't do it. I know that it's worth probably taking shots here or there, but I don't. He's just not playing well, and they got a 2-touchdown team total. I think A&M's defense is good enough, especially on the road, that I don't particularly want to touch that. It feels like fool's gold there. Marcel Reed at 11-4. Probably going to end up being one of the top plays on the slate as far as overall raw points projection. Going to be kind of hard to get away from that. So I think 11-4 is fair, more than fair. He should be probably 12K or so, no doubt about it. Ruben Owens, reasonable price tag at 8,200. Like I mentioned in the DK show, this line of 13 for 102 and 2 is extremely deceiving. Those 2 touchdowns came extremely late in the game last week as Missouri wore down. And EJ Smith and Amari Daniels, Jamal Morrow, whatever, they were all getting work early. So I think that this is not a play for the faint of heart. I think it becomes a extremely popular play for the general public because they think Ruben Owens, A&M, good player. They look at the stat lines. He's had 4 decent games in a row for the most part, 4 out of 5. But the full story is kind of told by if you look at how that game unfolded last week. Could he get there this week? Yes, I think you need to consider him. But I would say there's more risk in that situation than you would know going into it just off of volume alone and results. Craver, Concepcion, that's a tough one. I'm probably going to end up double stacking to an extent. I think Concepcion is probably my favorite of the two on FanDuel, and I would rather just pay the extra 900. Craver I like on DK a good bit. He does have the capability, so I would mix and match in that sense. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of ignore all of the South Carolina side here. It's just not worth it for me. I want to see what Bethel Roman did. He caught 4 targets. Yeah. So 1 catch. Bethel Roman's starting to play a little bit more. You could probably take a shot there. I just don't think I would be super interested. But yeah, so right now for me, Reed, both of the top 2 wideouts, well in play. Don't mind double stacks in that spot. And then Owens is in play, but I'm going to be a little nervy on that play. I might end up taking a stand there that I think is fading the field. Wisconsin taking on Indiana, a game that I'm thankful DK did not include because it is a trash game. 44.5 over under, 37 Indiana, 7.5 Wisconsin. Serious doubts that they get over the 7.5. Last week, their punter was the leading passer. Yeah, I mean, can they price the punter at 6,800 because he led him in passing? Mendoza comes in at 11-3. That's 100 less than Marcel Reed. I don't think Mendoza is playing perfect. I think there's risk with this play, but you got to have a little bit of interest. That's an interesting one. What are we doing? I do not want to add funds. I don't need to add funds. I ain't done that in 13 years. Why would you ask me that? Come on, FanDuel. Tighten it up. So Mendoza at 11-3, meh. I'm interested, but I feel like I like Marcel Reed a little bit more in that spot. Hemby, also meh. Like, he's just so much of a risk. You could get there and with the UCLA-like game here or an Oregon, well, not really an Oregon game. I just don't know that he gets that volume, that 17, 18 carry volume. I'll be honest. If I was playing an Indiana back against Wisconsin in this spot as a 30-point favorite, I'm playing Kobe Martin at 5,700. I think that's where I would play. If I was going to take a shot, I'm taking my shot on Kobe Martin and hoping I get an 11 carry, 80-yard, 1 touchdown game and I get those 14 points for 5,700. Or I get one of these 100-yard, 2 touchdown games out of nowhere against it, because these are all games that were blowout win, blowout win, blowout win. Now you also have blowout win, blowout win. So he could get you 22, but he could get you 4. But if I'm taking a shot on an Indiana running back, it's on Kobe Martin for me personally. I think it's not for the faint of heart, but it's a viable option. I'm not playing Elijah Surratt. It's a blowout situation against the team that is nobody. Like, they're going to blow them out, guaranteed. Omar Cooper, if you're pairing with Mendoza, that's fine. Becker came out of nowhere last week. Jonathan Brady, nothing. I'll take the L on that one. You know, that's why you got to make some of those predictions. Maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't. But yeah, Charlie Becker, he played the best. I'm not interested there. I'm not interested in EJ Williams. I would just play, especially because they're priced up now, $7K and 6,900. No shot in the world I'm playing either one of them. I would only play Cooper singled with Mendoza if I was playing Mendoza, and that's it. Period. End of story. Notre Dame taking on Pitt, what could have been hyped as a very good game of this week. Heading into it until Narduzzi laid a wet blanket on top of it by saying he's perfectly happy getting blown out. 33 points for Notre Dame, 22.5 for the Pitt Panthers. Heinzel would be and maybe he ends up being, maybe I end up on this. I wanted to play Heinzel. I think he's a good play, very good play this week. At 9,500, if I didn't have concerns that Narduzzi shuts down the guys that are playing on this team, Heinzel would be a core play at this price tag. He might still end up being that just because maybe they do end up trying to win. I don't know. Maybe I just got to wait it out. But like, based off of past performance and how I think the game script in this one goes at home, game day, freshman quarterback, taking on Notre Dame, I'm still very interested in Heinzel here at 9,500. That is a very cheap price for where he should be. Now, that's not to say I'm not interested in Carr as well. I think Carr's got a better floor, probably a little less ceiling because they're going to lead the way. But at 10K, I do have interest. That's a fair, very fair price tag on CJ Carr. Very fair price tag on Mason Heinzel in a game that has one of the better over-unders of the week. So I'm extremely interested in both quarterbacks in this spot. Jeremiah Love at 12.8. Everybody's going to be in on him. It's kind of hard not to be. I mean, he's going to have an insane floor, and his ceiling is unmatched in all of college football. I refuse to play any of the Pitt running backs. I think just based off of the simple fact that what Narduzzi says, Des Reed does not end up playing in this game. If he did, I wouldn't have interest anyway at 8,700 and being banged up. But Jeremiah Love, I'm very interested in at 12.8. I think that's a fair price. He probably should be in the 13 range in this spot. I think a Heinschel, Jeremiah Love little deal is pretty interesting. Rafi Williams, Kenny Johnson are the two, viable options at wide receiver for them. I would be very interested in doing a little bit of a Jeremiah Love fade. I think I will have some of Carr with Faison and Fields as my preferred options. I prefer those guys. I'm not as big of a Will Pauling guy. I liked him when he did score 5 weeks in a row. I'll give him that. But then he disappointed last week. Man, that's a tough one. It depends on pricing. Like if I needed $300, I'll drop from Faison to Pauling. I'm more interested. I want Fields. I still think that game's coming. I'm going to keep saying it. He's going to have a 100+ 2-touchdown game. It's coming. He's too talented for it to not come. So I am interested in those guys. And the pricing's pretty fair. Any of those three, very good plays. These two are fine. I wouldn't necessarily double stack those guys, but you could get away with it. That's kind of what I'm looking at there. But I think the pricing's very fair in this game. I don't mind it. I don't love the pricing on the Pitt wide receivers, but the quarterback pricing's so low and so fair. So I like the pricing in this game a lot. I'm gonna have some shares there. All right. Don't care about Underwood. I don't care about Preston Stone. This game's being played in Wrigley, Michigan, and Northwestern. I don't like this. Both of these teams. That is a situation I'm kind of going to try to avoid. Y'all already know I'm waiting to see one guy's price. Andrew Marsh is the only guy that I would have interest in. Griffin Willoughby. Apologize to him for calling him Wild for all the year, but I've learned his name now that I've been able to watch more Northwestern football. Marsh, I think, is a good little player. At 6K, minimal interest, but probably not. You already know I'm going lock and load. I would rather play a 9,500 Jordan Marshall than a 12.8 Jeremiah Love. So I'm going to lock in almost everywhere Jordan Marshall, DK, Fanduel, whatever. I don't care. He's too good of a play against Northwestern not to. He's going to get 20+ carries. We know that Justice Haynes is out probably for most of the year. Just lock in Jordan Marshall for 20+ touches a week. So I'll just keep paying 9,500. He should be 10.5 in this spot, and he's 9,500. So he's the best play on the slate. I don't even know what the rest of the pricing is. Doesn't matter. I'm playing a ton of Jordan Marshall on both sides. He's too cheap on both sides. Not close. All right. Taylor Green's 12K. I don't love that. I wish they had priced him down a little bit, because I do have interest in Taylor Green on both sites, but he's priced up so much on both sides that it makes it difficult and less viable to play with. LSU struggles with running quarterbacks. Man, that just makes me nervous. I wish I could play Taylor Green. I just can't. Nussmeier is a no. If I got word Van Buren was starting, I'd have interest. At 8K, he's a mobile quarterback. He can throw the football well. We know Arkansas's defense absolutely sucks. So that's where I'd be there. But I'm not playing Mike Washington. LSU actually is good against the running back position, but not so much the others. Durham and Barry, the price is good. Don't get me wrong. The price is good. And if they told me that Harlem Barry was going to get enough touches, maybe I'd have interest. But even then, like I said, with the situation, I would rather play Kobe Martin of Indiana, the third string running back, and just hope he breaks one off at 5,700. That's where then play an LSU running back. That's where we've gotten to with this team. Zero chance I'm playing Trey Green at 8,400. He could pay out, but I don't like that spot. Barry and Brown, no sir. Kyle Parker, no thank you. Xavier Thomas, no thank you. Aaron Anderson's the one that I have interest in. Hasn't paid off yet, but you see it early in the year. You saw how much target volume he was getting. I'm still willing to go there because his target volume still as good as it gets. Xavier Thomas had a good amount of targets too, but like Kyle Parker's not doing anything, so I don't get that. But Nick Anderson's now out for the year. Chris Hilton still on a milk carton. So yeah, I mean, for my money, I'm if you're buying Aaron Anderson, you're buying what he did last year, and you're not buying what he's doing this year. It's kind of scary to say, but man, that game is the ugliest 55. So that game has the same exact over under as Notre Dame Pittsburgh, and I like Notre Dame Pittsburgh as a game environment. I hate LSU Arkansas as a game environment. Like, Arkansas should be that should be like a 3-point spread. That spread's too big. There's zero reason Arkansas should be a 6-point dog, even at LSU in this situation, given the fact like how's LSU scoring 30 points? Like, yeah. I don't know, man. That thing's ugly. That thing's ugly. I just don't even want to bother to try to figure that game out, but I'm gonna do. But I don't know how you play that game. I'll keep some guys in there, but they're not gonna be priority plays. I can tell you that much. Iowa taking on USC. This is an interesting game. 49.5 over under. Clash of styles. It's at USC, so I do have interest. USC plays well in the state of California, not necessarily outside of it. 28-21 is essentially the projected score. Maeva at 10-6 is an extremely fair price tag on him. He's an 11-5 guy normally. Mark Gronowski runs for a touchdown every week, but good Lord, he can't throw for one. I mean, he's thrown for one back-to-back weeks, but he's got 4 passing touchdowns on the season. Good floor. I just think he lacks ceiling. I mean, runs for a touchdown every week, but woo doggy. I don't know that they can. I don't know that they can stop Maeva and crew. I'm not playing King Miller even at 8,800. Not in this matchup. Kamari Moulton, I'll have interest in against USC for 7,300 because he's going to get 15, 20 touches in this spot. And if he can find the end zone, which he struggled with it, but if he can find the end zone, he's going to get to 20 points. So at 7,300, I have a lot of interest in Kamari Moulton here. I definitely would not mind some Moulton because the stuff is going to be so concentrated. I have some Maeva stack interest with Moulton on the other side. And it would probably be with Lane because Jacoby Lane is going to catch, like, he's just such a touchdown maker. And I think they're going to have to roll coverage to take care of Lemon. Lemon's the better player, but Lane does have that big play upside. And then you can't play anybody from the other side. And I think you just keep it to these two. The whole offense flows through these two and nobody else. It's kind of pointless to even talk about anybody else. You know them, but you don't love them. All right, Oklahoma taking on Bama. I think this game's a low-scoring knocker, like just terrible game. We get 45.5 in this one, 26-19, Alabama over Oklahoma. Ty Simpson at 9,700 is a fair price. I mean, he's going to have to throw the football well. It's going to have to rest on his shoulders. He has not played well for a while now. The numbers are not Heisman-like. I don't care what anybody says. It's not there. So I do have interest. I do have interest in Simpson at 9,700. That's too fair of a price. Mateer, Also, a little bit of interest because he's going to have to run the football so much. Bama's pretty good against the pass, though, which does make me nervous. So, mild interest in the Mateer side, decent interest in the Bama side because Bama's not going to be able to run the football at all. So, I have zero interest in the Bama running backs. I probably have no interest in Xavier Robinson at 8,100. I'd rather play Kamari Moulton. I don't know that it's a very different story whatsoever. Jeremy Bernard, probably he's always the number one for me in the Bama side. I don't trust Ryan Williams. Satania, I don't hate. If you're playing Mateer, I don't mind stacking him with Satania. I would say I don't. Burks, man, Burks is a tease, dude. I like Deion Burks. I think he's a good player. It's not there. So I'm going to keep going out on this limb. If Jeremy Bernard's my one, my number 2 favorite stack partner, price considered, is going to be Lottie Brooks. So if Lottie Brooks, if you need a 5,300 guy, I'm perfectly happy with Lottie. He's a good player. He's going to be really good. 0% chance we don't play this guy. We do not play Ryan Williams. Minimal interest in Horton, but I prefer Lottie Brooks to Horton here's a who over here. That's just my opinion. Miami taking on NC State. Miami got a healthy team total in this one at 35, 20.5 for NC State. NC State pretty bad on both sides of the football, or both, run against the run and the pass on the defense. I don't know that I could trust anybody from NC State because, like CJ Bailey, from that aspect, Will Wilson comes in and runs the goal line package, which takes away rushing touchdowns from Bailey. So I'm not interested in Bailey. I don't want to be interested in Carson Beck. I started turning my tune a little bit. I'm going to have a little bit. Mainly because I think the stack partners might be fairly cheap. And NC State's the worst pass defense in the country. No Mark Fletcher means probably a few more passes. NC State doesn't generate a lot of pressure. I'm interested. I'll play a little bit of Carson Beck doubles just because I want to. Smothers, I don't think plays. Fletcher, I know won't play. And then Jaden Scott, I don't love at the price tag. I prefer Shamar Brown, but he got a price hike. I like him on DK more because of the PPR upside. I'm gonna leave him in the pool probably because I do have interest, but I don't love it. He was clearly the best back last week. He got double the amount of touches that everybody else did, but he's more of a PPR merchant right now. Maybe he gets there. So I do have minimal interest. I would be willing to take shots here or there, but I'd prefer Kamari Moulton at that 7,300 price tag versus 7,200 from Shamar Brown. There is upside there, though. Jaden Scott, this run defense is too good. I'm not taking that chance. All right, if I'm playing Beck and I'm playing doubles, everybody, once again, so everybody went to Trader last week, right? Because CJ Daniels is out. Oh, come on, prove my point. So everybody went to Trader, right? They said, oh, we got to play Trader. 3 catches, 19 yards. Now, what did I say, though? I said, let's go Keelan Marion. I think he came on strong late in that game. Got more targets. 3 for 116 and a touchdown. So he only had 100 more yards and a touchdown. I got that one right. That was one of the few things we get right last week. But I'll take it. So, once again, if you're stacking, if CJ Daniels remains out, which probably the case. So, as long as he remains out, give me Malachi Toney. Give me Keelan Marion. And that'll be your doubles. You're going to need a double stack back because the only way he gets there is going to be on a double stack. That's for sure. So, that's the only way I would do it. I do not trust anybody on NC State's offense. They spread it around too much. I wish you could predict it. I tried to predict it early in the season. Noah Rogers, uber talented, but I'm man. Like, I really wish you could predict it, but you can't. You just can't. I promise. Texas Tech taking on Central Florida. Decent little over-under in this one. 48.5. 36-point projection on Texas Tech. Central Florida, you can ignore. I tend to want to ignore them anyway. Cam Fancher, questionable with ribs. Please play Cam Fancher against this defense. Maybe we'll finally knock him out for good. Baylor Morton at 86. I'm out. I just don't think they're going to need him. They're just not going to throw the football with that efficiency level. Jacoby Williams and Dickey both should technically be in play. I'm just not super interested. If Montgomery's out, Nixon's a hell of a good player to be able to get for 6,600 with a full workload. You still can't do it. Not against this. This defense is far too good. I have interest in a Texas Tech running back. I just don't know how much. Maybe not. Probably out on all of these top 3 pass catchers. I do like the value on Terrence Carter at 6K. I will play some of that. He's a very good value for the price right there. Not particularly interested in anybody in their pass game for UCF. Very easy one there. UVA taking on Duke. This is interesting. So you get a 58.5 over-under. I like the game total there. 32.5 Duke. Virginia's not particularly great on defense. They're not great tackling. Even though they did shut down Damon Claiborne. Duke is explosive as all get out on offense. Virginia has a 26-point team total taking on a Duke defense that is a full-blown pass funnel that cannot stop a nosebleed on the back end, but they're pretty good on the front end. So I'm not willing to play any of the run game out of Duke. I am, however, willing to play the pass game. I'm out on Mensa at 10-4. Zero chance I'm playing that. Just doesn't make sense. I know the game environment's good, but no thank you. This feels like I would bet the under game. If Morris plays, which he practiced today, or he's going to practice today, whatever. I think that's what came out. I mean, obviously he's dealing with a concussion, you geniuses. You got smoked in the dome. That's why he was out. Daniel Kalen actually played pretty good. They said he's going to practice Wednesday. I just got a notification earlier today that Chandler Morris is going to practice today. Kalen actually played fairly decently. 6 for 49 on the ground, gave him a little bit of spark. I have interest in UVA quarterback because Duke's so bad on the back end. I do have interest. 9,800 for Nate Shepard. I don't think it's unreasonable, but I'd rather play Marshall. That's not close. Nate Shepard, too much risk in that play. Jamari Taylor, Duke running. Duke, too good against the run. No, thank you. Barcate, you always got to have interest. Trell Harris would be the favorite UVA wideout. It's not particularly close, but that's why he's priced at 7,100. Quayshawn Brown, meh. That's tough. I mean, maybe I'd be interested. I don't love that. 7,100 is a little more than I'd want to pay. I don't mind Hagens, but he's a risk at 62. Anthony is a big risk at 63. Usually one of those 3 catches a touchdown or 2. Always. Barcate is expensive now. We used to pay $7K for him. Minimal interest in Cam Ross. Maybe he gets there. Yeah, I would say Trell Harris is 1, Ross 2, Adrien 3. But I don't particularly hate any of them, really. I don't mind any of them. Where's the tight end? Tight end Sage Ennis at 5,100. I guess he's technically a punt option. Yeah, if you're punting, maybe. Game environment's pretty good, so I think there's ways to play that. I think if you wanted to go game stack, you go UVA quarterback, you go Nate Shepard, you get Barcate, and then like Trell Harris or something, you know. You go double Duke from a skill position player's perspective, and you go UVA stack. Excuse me. You go UVA stack. That's the way I would play it. Utah taking on Baylor. Highest over-under on the slate, 60.5. 34.5 Utah, 26 for Baylor. I don't know that Baylor's going to score 26. I hope so. Utah, I feel pretty confident, can top 30. They have Pierre at 11.8. Probably out on. I just don't know that the ceiling's there for that. He would have to do, yeah, I mean, he'd have to be in the 30, 34 range. Maybe he got there, maybe he doesn't. It's going to all depend on touchdowns, though, because he's not getting a massive yardage total. Sawyer at 10.8. That's a tough spot. Utah, not a great defense, but good enough that I don't particularly want to pick on it. I feel like I'd feel good about 20. I just don't know that 30 is the in-play number. So not super into that. Yeah, I don't think I'm, even with the game total, I'm not super into that. I can't trust Wayshawn Parker for 8,300. Yeah, I'm out there. I can't trust anybody. I want this to be a thing so bad, but it's not. So Bryson Washington, 6,500. I still need to see it. You want to take shots, go right ahead. And Dakari Rogers is playing way too much around the goal line. That's a good punt play, in my opinion. I would take punt play shots on Dakari Rogers because Baylor's run defense is absolutely atrocious. I don't mind taking shots there. No doubt about it. I don't mind that. That's a decent way to play this. Davis priced up a little more than I would like. Maybe Bentley. Bentley at 56 is a solid shout. He does have upside for some decent stuff here. I mean, I'm always going to be on Cameron and Trigg. If you really want to play through that way and you say, hey, they're just playing from behind, then yeah, sure. Go Sawyer with Cameron and Trigg. I have no issues with that. And then play it through like Dakari Rogers or something, as a bring back. Or play it through Dampier, by himself. Florida taking on Ole Miss. Florida has quit on their season. 53.5 over under, 35 for Ole Miss, 19 for Florida. You can't play Lagway, as we've mentioned. He's just, he's still, yeah, dude. They benched him. They got smoked by Kentucky last week. 11-6 for Trinidad Chambliss. I think he's fine, but I wouldn't go there. I don't think the upside's there. I think the floor's there, not the upside. Kewan Lacey at 10-6, no thank you. Jaden Ball at 9K, no thank you. I just don't think that he's worth the price. Neither one of them. Ball is as we've mentioned on the show a few times, Ball to me is the best running back in the SEC. He just plays for a crap team that's in disarray. But it's just not there. If you can figure out what Ole Miss wide receiver scores this week, then good for you. Take your shots. I can't figure it out because, reminder, Winston Watkins, while it looks good the last two on the box score, there was a goose egg in there. So there was the goose egg between that Citadel and Oklahoma game. So I don't know what to tell you. Harrison Wallace also been not great. So Ole Miss is tough to figure out, man. I mean, they're scoring points. Don't get me wrong, 35-point team total. Who's scoring them and how? I don't know what to tell you. They're tough to figure out. Vernell Brown at 5,700. I mean, you'd have to buy into the talent. They threw the ball so poorly last week, I don't know what to do. I like Vernell Brown, the player. Just like I like Aiden Mizell, the player. But other than that, man, there is a bunch of ugly on this roster. I would never play Sturdivant. Can't do it. Like, the problem is with this Ole Miss roster, you got Daquan Wright at tight end. Then behind him, you're talking a rotation of Harrison Wallace, Deuce Alexander, Winston Watkins, DeJon Stribling, Caden Lee, all 5 that play. And then from the Daquan Wright side, you got Caleb Oden taking snaps. So it's just pick your poison. Like, who's going for 100 and a tud this week? I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Ohio State takes on UCLA. 40-point team total, Ohio State. 8.5 UCLA. Julian saying clocks in at 11K. Don't care what Nico clocks in at. We're not playing anybody from UCLA. Doesn't matter. 7,600 Bo Jackson. He's going to, what was the movie? He's like the running back on Friday Night Lights. You know what I mean? He just mows you down the field, and then CJ Donaldson gets the red zone touchdown because Bo Jackson's not allowed to score. So I'm just out. Carnell Tate, after so here you go. You want to talk about the biggest crock of crap that's ever been spelt on TV? Tate felt tight during pregame warmups, so the team decided to hold him out of the game as a precaution. AKA, based on my sources, Carnell Tate skipped the class and they decided to not let him play this week. That's what happened. Per my sources. He missed the class. They found out about it. They said, okay, you're not going to play this week. Don't put him on the injury report, though. I still think they should fine him for not putting him on the injury report, but whatever. They're going to do whatever they got to do. I guess technically speaking, you want to take shots on Brandon Ennis, go right ahead, but he didn't do anything. I think Ennis is an interesting long-term play because Carnell Tate's going to graduate this year. I think Ennis ends up being the number 2 next year, unless Ohio State goes out and just says we want to make a super team and gets Cam Coleman to go with Jeremiah Smith, or goes and gets a Amarion Miller or something like that. Max Clare, also, you want to go there, go right ahead. It's possible. I think Jeremiah is a great play, as usual. I think there is a legitimate chance that Jeremiah Smith wins this Heisman Trophy, so I have bet it at 25, or I got it at 30-1. I think it's possible. Because you look at the numbers, and his counting stats are starting to add up. His touchdowns are starting to add up. So we're not far away from Jeremiah Smith winning this Heisman Trophy. I'm back in. I'll play saying doubles. I'll play saying singles specifically because I know Jeremiah Smith is actually going to go to class, Carnell Tate. So I'll play saying singles. I have no issues there. They're trying to win a Heisman. Texas taking on Georgia, 48.5 over-under in this one. Feels like an over. I think we might get that feels like an over game to me. I think 48.5 is a little low. A little light in the old britches. This isn't perfect defense that we've seen from these teams in the past. 27 for Georgia, 21 for Texas. This really does feel like a 31-28 game. Arch at 9K. I'd have interest. I have interest in Arch. He's been playing well. I'm going to have interest in Arch. I'm buying into it. Played really well against Vandy. Played well against Mississippi State. Tied a couple of them together after having just some struggles against Oklahoma, to be expected. Kentucky, good defense. Underrated defense. Played well against Florida, Sam Houston. So realistically, he's had 3 bad games all year, and one was Ohio State, one was Oklahoma. That's 2 of the best defenses in the country. I'll buy Arch. I don't think Georgia's particularly a great defense. I mean, maybe it's on the level of Kentucky, but I'll buy Arch. I'll buy some Arch in this spot. I'm interested in 9K. I think that's fair. 10-2 for Gunner. I think Texas's defense is better than Georgia's. I'll have minimal interest in Gunner, but I probably prefer Arch in this spot, actually. Nate Frazier had the breakout party over Bowens last week. Bowens still scored. It was respectable enough, but it was disappointing because Nate Frazier had 181 yards rushing. Now, Nate Frazier's the more talented back overall. He just can't hold on to the football. If Nate Frazier holds on to the football, he's going to have a big week every week. 7,100 against Texas, not particularly willing to buy into it. I don't want to buy into either Texas back in this spot. I just don't trust Wisner. Wisner's going to get 18 touches in this spot at 8K. It's reasonable, but why pay for it? Why pay for that? It's just not there. I'm paying for Arch. Branch, if I'm playing Georgia, I'm playing Branch. He's definitely my favorite weapon in this offense. I mean, look at the catch totals. 8, 10, 8, 9. I love it. He finally did score a touchdown last week. Still not really hitting the explosives the way I want, but I'm in. Wingo. I'm in on Wingo. Give me Wingo. 7,500 paired with Arch. I'll pay 16.5 for that combinatorial stack. I like that. I like that a good bit. Mosley's been playing well as well. I don't mind him as a double partner there. I'm out on Livingstone. I know he's caught the 2 touchdowns here, but I'm out. Mosley's kind of taken over that outside role. DeAndre Moore at 56 just feels good. I have minimal interest there. Maybe if I had to, maybe. Dylan Thomas had that monster long touchdown last week. Or Noah Thomas. Dylan Bell's getting work. I just don't trust him. He's not a good enough player for me. If I was double stacking Georgia, it would be Branch Thomas. I like Branch the most. It's not close. Wingo Mosley would be my preferred double with my mans. Arch Manning. Yeah. Injuries. Not playing as well as I thought he would. Really not playing that well. They played really well last year with that tight end, Gunnar Helm. But they're not playing very well this year. So let's build that, actually. Give me an Arch. Give me an Arch single with him. We'll do that. Running back wise, no. Maybe. No. Well, maybe from that side. Miami, no. Well, maybe, but no. Probably. Let's go Moulton. I think that's a good play. I think Moulton's a good play in that spot. And then obviously this is the lock of the century. We're just going to lock in this running back here. All right, that leaves us 8,900. We're not going to be able to get an A&M double, but we could go A&M single stack right here. You could definitely get that in from a wide receiver's perspective. You could go Concepcion and Reed. You'd have to pay down at that third wide receiver spot, but it's not unreasonable. It's not unreasonable to pay 5,800. I mean, look at that. You could get Bethel Roman at that spot. Who's at 5,800 area? Aaron Anderson, not a terrible play. Don't love it. Let's see. Don't hate the Vernell Brown call. You got DeAndre Moore if you want to go Texas double stack. Dallin Bentley, I think, is a good play in that spot. So we got options. You got Bethel Roman if you want to go double stack on Texas A&M. So yeah, that's all good stuff. Let's go DeAndre Moore. I think that's very viable. You get the little Aggies horns double. I don't think that's a bad play. Same vein. Give me let's go Jeremiah. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. You can't do that. That ain't gonna happen. Not with Arch. You can do it, but you're gonna have to go Kobe Martin here. This is where you go freaky deaky and you get your Kobe Martin in. Bang. Oh, bang. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, boys. Then you could take Brandon Ennis if you wanted to. You could do the Brandon Ennis Jeremiah double if you really wanted to get weird. Or you can then go to your DeAndre Moore. That's how you get that in. That's how you get your Arch Manning. Jeremiah Smith-Julian saying doubles. I like that. I just think Jordan Marshall's far too cheap. He's kind of a lock button play for me. I'm not going anywhere else. I'm going to build probably 20 teams in this, if I was to guess. Like minimum 18 have Marshall. He's too cheap. He's the best play on the slate. So for my money, he's a guarantee. He's a lock. He'll probably get hurt now, but that's not my fault. From statistically speaking, you have to play Jordan Marshall because he's going to give you, you look at these games, 39, 17, 22. Those are the 3 games without his backfield mate. Well, Michigan State, his backfield mate played, but I think you're looking at 20 points at 9,500. You take that and you just lock it in to your lineup. So I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'm working on setting up the DK player pool. I'm going to get the Fanduel player pool. I'm going to start working through that stuff right now. And I will be back tomorrow with that information. Good luck, everybody.